Welcome to the Dirt Court Jesters Podcast, your home for dirt track racing across the country and right here in the Ohio Valley. This is Josh, and in episode 44, we've got more full-timers, more 2025 schedules, USAC making news, and Joe Baggott with Dirtbag Media joins me. I hope you guys are ready to get dirty. This week in dirt racing history, we're going back to March 4th of 2006 in Paris Auto Speedway with USAC sprints. Corey Kruisman would get the victory, Damian Gardner in second, and Matthew Neely would round out the podium.
Let me talk to you!
This week's talking points, I want to start by saying I missed some stuff on the last episode that I wanted to make sure I talked about. IRA has 18 full-timers signed up to compete with them in 2025. That number could still grow. Hunt the Front has 12 full-timers, and it sounds like that may grow another 2 or 3 before they really get the season rolling. As I said on the last episode, it's good to see this many drivers signing up to run full-time across various series. Recently, Jeremy Elliott with Sprint Car Unlimited in his 90 at 9 on February 21st, he talked about the need for a national governing body and how it would benefit the sport. I'm sure Jeremy's talked about this before, as many other folks have. I couldn't agree more with them. If you haven't heard it yet, go check that out. Jackson County Speedway, 7 races on the schedule. Opening night, May 30th with late models. OVSCA makes their first stop there on July 5th. Ohio Valley late models stop in on July 11th. And they wrap up their season there at Jackson County on August 15th with OVSCA. The Ohio Thunder 305s are also going to visit Jackson County Speedway 3 times in 2025. The Great Lakes Traditional Sprints 2025 schedule, 12 races, starts May 9th at I-96 and ends September 6th. Both of those are going to be at Silver Bullet Speedway. They've got 4 stops in Ohio, twice at Millstream and twice at Limaland. USAC partners with GPX Stream to bring onboard cameras back into the dirt racing world. Now, obviously, they've been around, but this sounds like a move by USAC to just try and test the market a little bit more and see how much more of the in-car onboard cameras can be used. Like I said, they've been around, but it'd be interesting to see maybe we could get some split or triple screen action, especially during qualifying, get inside the cockpit there, and maybe during the feature as well. USAC Hall of Fame class of 2025 was also announced. This is going to be their 12th Hall of Fame class, and it includes driver, car owner Jack Bowsher, driver Dave Darland, car owner and official Bob Estes, car owner and crew chief Bob Hampshire, promoters Roger and Linda Holdman, official Tommy Hunt, and driver Gordon John Cock. The official 2025 USAC Hall of Fame induction ceremony will take place at USAC headquarters in Speedway, Indiana on Wednesday afternoon, July 2nd. And Pittsburgh, PA Motor Speedway has been doing some work at the track. If you haven't seen it, check out their social media. Putting in a new outside wall as well as fencing. Bravo on bumping up the safety there at Pittsburgh, PA Motor Speedway. As always, want to give a shout out to Victory Fuel. From Purple Potion to Throttle Punch to Lucky Lemon. Fueled by electrolytes, charged with vitamins, and kid-friendly. Fuel your victory at drinkvictory.com and use the code Jesters10 at checkout to save. Drinkvictory.com and use the code Jesters10 at checkout to save. Now let's go behind the rock screen.
You're welcome to come on in. We'll bring out the moonshine, start telling lies and calling up the women. But no talk about racing. Come on.
Hey everybody, this is Josh here with the Dirt Court Jesters Podcast. Got Joe Baggott here, owner and CEO of Dirtbag Media. Thanks for hopping on with me, Joe.
Yeah, thank you for having me. That was a big introduction. I wouldn't say I'm an owner and CEO, but I put a lot of time and soul into what I do. So,
and that's your thing, right? Dirtbag Media is your doing.
Yeah, so I split. I was doing that before 2 years ago, and then I joined with and the Angry Duck and did the Angry Duck Media, and the situation got to where it wasn't really profitable for me to continue that, so I split off back to do my own thing, and I don't regret that decision one bit.
Okay. Well, hey, I mean, you got your own company. You've only been doing it for a couple of years. We all know it's hard to get that ball rolling, but you've been in a lot of spots over the last year. And I know from following you on some other podcasts that you grew up in Arizona, you raced quarter midgets, and I think you hopped in some micros out there. But what led to that? How did you get attracted to dirt racing?
It was kind of in my family. So, my uncle was never a driver himself, but he lived up here in Ohio, in the Northeast Ohio area, going to Sharon Speedway and stuff like that. So he was doing it for his whole childhood. And then he moved out to Arizona and bought some mini sprints, and he had 2 mini sprints, and he was a car owner, and then eventually sold those and bought a 360, and then he was a car owner for a 360 team. And then eventually my cousin was born and sold all that, bought a bunch of quarter midgets. He got going with quarter midgets, and I got going on quarter midgets, and it just kind of started from there. But my dad's background is in desert racing, so it's just kind of racing's been in the family for long. That's like how my parents met. They were both EMTs at the racetrack, and they met that way. So like racing is in my blood.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. So how did you end up in Ohio?
Same aunt and uncle moved up here, or went up here for vacation, and they're like, that's it, we're moving back. So they moved up from Ohio, or from Arizona back to Ohio, and then slowly everybody started following. My grandparents moved up here, then I moved up with my grandparents, and then my dad moved up here. Just kind of crazy how like everybody just started migrating back to Ohio.
When did you end up here in Ohio? How old were you?
I have no idea how old I was, but I was like the 4th grade time.
Okay.
I was in 4th grade. Yeah, but I lived up here. I'd come up to Ohio every summer and go to all kinds of races and stuff. And then I lived up here for 2 years prior to that, and then eventually came back.
Okay. Have you ever thought about jumping back in a race car?
That's why I started the media thing, was because I wanted to get back into racing somehow. And I thought, well, if I can make some money, I can set it aside, and next thing I know, I'll have a race car. And the next thing I know, I'm spending thousands of dollars on camera equipment, and I could have just bought a race car at the end of the day. But
so the camera equipment, the photography, where'd all that come from?
Like a similar thing. I just want to go to race. I went to the Kings Royal, and it kind of took every dollar I had to go. And I was like, well, I want to go to more stuff like this, like the Knoxville Nationals and stuff like that. Well, I can't really afford to continue to do that. So I was like, well, if I can go and make some money, at least pay for the trip, then it's kind of worth it for me. So I bought a camera in the off season, and that was 3 years ago. I bought a camera, and it hasn't slowed down ever since.
Did you start taking classes for that, or did you just
YouTube? YouTube.
Okay.
And frankly, that's how a lot of my friends at the top of the industry, they learned the same way. Was none of them went to school for it. They all went YouTube, bought a camera, and went to YouTube.
Yeah, it's different now. I mean, I'm a little bit older, and that obviously wasn't an option for me when I was younger. But yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised at things you could find on YouTube and Google, right?
100%. There's a little lacking of motorsport stuff, but if you take, just adapt sport stuff to what you're doing, and after a while, you get so used to your equipment that you start figuring out stuff and get better and better.
I know your bio says Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania, but it seems like you go almost anywhere. You were in Volusia to start the season.
Yeah, I spent, I was spending 4 days in Volusia. Ended up spending a week and a half there because I stayed for the late models. But yeah, I thought I was going to stay close to home, and then realized there's not a whole lot of money in that, in the Western PA area, because the drivers don't race for any money. The teams don't have any money. So the money is in the travel. So I started going to Attica Fremont quite a bit, made a lot of money there, and I started applying for more credentials to like the Knoxville Nationals and Kings Royal, and started getting them. And next thing I know, I'm got 45 outlaw races on my schedule, and it covers half the country.
How was Volusia and Florida weather compared to what we're going through here in Ohio?
I did not want to come back. It was when I pulled into the driveway on Tuesday, it was -3 degrees, and I was like, I don't want to be back here.
Yeah, and you're up north there. Are you by Youngstown? Is that right?
Originally, yeah, but I moved up here to Erie for a little bit.
Okay. You're even farther north then.
Yeah, so it's really cool. We get like foot and a half of snow in a day, and it's crazy.
So the icebreaker is what's next on your schedule. Is that right?
Yeah, I haven't started messaging people about where I'm going yet, but that'll be most likely the next thing on my schedule if the weather holds, which it looks like it might. It's just going to be a little cold.
It's going to be cold, but Lincoln starts this weekend and they don't stop until the season's over.
No, they don't. That's the kind of nice thing. It's just have to have something.
It's cool to have, but I will tell you, I can't wrap my head around that. I'd love to be able to go to the dirt track right now, but I don't know if Ohio's ready for outdoor weather just yet.
Oh, definitely not.
Do you have anything lined up with drivers or series or teams or anything going into this season?
I got some kind of stuff in the works. Nothing concrete yet. Sounds like I'll be doing some stuff for Brock Is Your Foss, Bill Baylog, the Sides Motorsports stuff. Kind of talked to them about it. Haven't. They're still kind of debating on what they want to do. So hoping to hear back from them. But I've already worked with multiple companies. So that's kind of the thing. It's just going down Evolution was a big marketing thing for me, just to pick up clients, talk to people, get new content out that I could show more potential clients, which helps.
Nice. That's good. You got some balls rolling, and it's early in the season, so there's plenty of things that could pop up.
Oh, 100%.
How do you feel about the All-Stars coming back?
I'm really excited for it, actually. I wish it was coming back in the capacity that it was, but I don't think it'll ever be like that again. Not without somebody coming else, like if Flo bought it again, or Tony Stewart, something like that, someone big to buy it again. But Rich is doing a really good job, and I like what I'm seeing so far.
Well, you mentioned AFCS, and I know Dwayne, I like what he's been doing with that, and they're doing their double-up weekends where, with the exception of twice, I think the 305s are at Millstream, but every AFCS show is a Friday, Saturday. So Friday at Attica and Saturday at Fremont.
I wish there would be some 410 stuff at Millstream, but I mean, there is, don't get me wrong. There's a couple fast shows there and stuff. I just wish that there was some AFCS races there. I think talking to Dwayne that might be in the future over the next couple of years. So that would be cool.
It would.
But I like Millstream a lot. I think it's a cool place. The environment's really nice, even though it's, brand new, just kind of open again. But like, for me, when I walked through the gate for the first time, I was like, oh, this place is cool.
Yeah, when I was younger, I went there. Obviously, it was a bit different track because that inside wall was there. And now that they took that inside wall out, now they have two options, which obviously we know last year it was good they had to use that quarter mile last year because the big track was rough one night.
Yeah, that was not one of the best nights of the year, but kudos to them for sticking it out and getting something figured out. Because that was what, like, talking to a lot of the drivers in the pit area wanted. They're like, we don't care what you decide. We just want you to make a decision. Like, are we risking it and running on the big track, or are we going to run the small track? We just need to know what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's, what, was it 8 years since that track last ran?
I think it was like 2016, so.
Okay. So, yeah, something like that. So, the fact that it's set dormant that long, and I think they had a pretty successful season. Some ups and downs, but, what do you expect, year one after a track is set for so long? I enjoyed my trip to Millstream, and I'm hoping to get back there myself.
Yeah, I think they did some stuff that I think more tracks need to do. They brought in a ton of porta potties, which was awesome. In the pit area, there was like 40 in the pit area. It was like nuts for the Speed Week show. It was nuts. It was a good thing to have, a good problem to have. Brand new bleachers. There was food in the pit area. There's like stuff that you don't think matters, but it does matter because it gives a good experience. Brand new lighting, LED lighting, which was nice. So yeah, the track needed work. The surface needs work. It needs some new dirt and new clay. But they already set the tone with the atmosphere of what this track is going to be like, and that I'm excited for.
Yeah, definitely. We talked about the All-Stars, you talked about AFCS, and it just comes to mind Western PA Speed Week. Are you planning on covering that?
I believe so. I may or may not have some conflicting things on there. I have to check with my schedule again. But Tyler Beekner, again, puts together an awesome, just 5-race series. It hits the good tracks. It brings in a ton of people. Last year, there was 3 nights of 60-plus cars. I mean, for a tiny little, for Western PA, that's huge because the racing isn't there like it used to be anymore. And yeah, you have competitors like AJ Flick, but at the end of the day, like when your top 4 drivers have to join, AFCS or now the All-Stars to make any money, that you need to look at what the environment down there is like.
Yeah, it's money in some spots. I guess when we talk about money in dirt racing, I think my first thought is the non-wing guys, the non-wing sprint cars.
They don't race for anything,
and how money needs to be increased there.
Yeah.
But like you said, Western PA Speed Week, I was impressed with the car counts they had last year, and it seemed like it was really good. 5 days of racing.
Yeah, it sucked that Mercer got rained out because I think that would have been a good show. And then another thing that sucked was that PPMS, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway, took rubber and hot laps. Like, even though that those are things that happen, Sharon and Lernerville put on a really good show to kind of boost that tour back a little bit. But, what Tyler does is it's a simple business model. It's just simple, and it works. There's people from North Carolina. There was people from Central PA. There was people from like Indiana. There was like 6 different states and 2 countries. There was people from Canada. Like you can't ask for something more than that on just a 5-race little series. That the money was right. It was like $5,000 to win or something like that. Like you can't turn that down.
No. Yeah, very, very true. Getting back to your dirtbag media and the photography, do you have a favorite track to shoot at?
I would say Millstream, but I think Millstream needs a little bit of work, and then it'll be really good. I think because the track kind of sucked last year, that like a bunch of us photographers got together and like, this place is going to be really cool. Once they get racing on it, it's going to be really cool. But I'd say Millstream because the lighting is good. Frankly, Eldora sucks. Knoxville kind of sucks. So you think like the tracks that are big and cool and are like, oh, Eldora must be awesome, but no, the fencing in it, the photo holes aren't in the good spots. It's just certain things about those 2 tracks that it's a cool environment and you could do some incredible stuff there, but it's a little bit more of a challenge than say like your local track. But I'd say my favorite, maybe like Fremont, maybe Millstream or Fremont.
Okay, Ohio tracks. I like it.
That's just 2 places I've been to quite a bit. I do like the Williams Grove. I haven't been to Port Royal yet. That's on my schedule.
Okay. Yeah, I got over there to Eastern Pennsylvania. Was going to try to catch a race. I want to say it may have been Lincoln, and it just we were going through. There wasn't really a plan to go to the race, but I was like, I'm in the area and I've never been to a race over here. We're going, and I was planning to go, and we were getting ready to drop some people off so me and my kid could go, and I was like, I better check it because it had rained earlier, and I checked, and sure enough, they canceled. Damn it! So close to getting a race in over here, and didn't happen.
Yeah, Lincoln's actually really cool. The cars do some really cool stuff there. That's awesome to capture. The only time I was there last year was the Icebreaker. And for me, I had a bunch of new stuff, trying some new stuff. So the day wasn't the most enjoyable, but I think it was like a cool place to go. And I think going back this year, already having a couple races under my belt, that I might have a better experience there this year.
Okay. So kind of backing up on what you said about Eldora. I know you don't like shooting there, but you talked about I heard you on a podcast talking about how you get sucked towards the fence there. I always tell people this: if you've never been there, you have to get a pit pass, and you have to go. My spot is if you get like kind of in 3. If you went 3 or maybe 3 and 4, if the track's good and they're running down at the wall, if you get down there between 3 and 4, they're almost smacking the wall. They're so close on the inside.
Oh yeah,
and like you said, whatever it is, the aerodynamics, it feels like it's pulling you out towards the track if you're standing close to the fence.
100%. I think the best time to do it is probably like in a B main, because just that's when a lot of the guys run the bottoms during the B main. So to really get that effect, it's like you got to kind of do it then. But like I was shooting there last year through the fence, and Jacob Allen hit the inside wall right where I was standing. Like sparks shot up like next to my head. Like I'm shooting through the fence down into the corner, and he hits the wall here. You know, like, and I mean, if I were to poke my head this far out, gone.
Yeah, it's nuts there, and you know, even going there, and if you're out in the stands, like cars are loud, they're fast, but when you get down there, it's a whole different ball game.
Oh, 100%. It's my favorite track. Don't get me wrong. Eldora is my favorite track to go to, but not as like a photographer or videographer. But like the environment is insane. To the atmosphere, you almost can't get better than that, because it's a party. First of all, you show up, it's a party for whatever race you're going for, whether it's Let's Race 2 or Kings Royal, the Dirt Track World Championships. It's just a party.
Oh yeah.
And a race breaks out. Like that's what's awesome about it. And then, you know, you have world-class facility on top of that. Right.
Yeah. You can't beat it. And I don't know, with you being here in Ohio, I know you're starting to travel a lot, but you know, just talking about, I guess we're kind of getting off the topic, but what the hell, we're going to do it anyways. Talking about tracks that are just world-class facilities. I agree with you on Eldora. And I'll say this till my dying day, or until somebody gets a hold of it and does the right thing with it, but Lima Land is one of the best quarter miles in the country, in my opinion.
See, I've never been there. I haven't heard too many nice things about Lima Land, to be honest. I've heard some horror stories from other photographers that they were standing in the middle of the infield and they didn't know where the track was because it got real dusty.
That was Speed Week 2 years ago.
Yeah, I heard that they were cutting the track like by feet.
Yep.
Because they didn't know what the track was, and I was like, okay,
yes.
I don't know if I want to go there.
No. So my stance is if you ever get a chance to go there, which I would say you should, the facility itself is top notch.
So that's how I feel about Sharon.
Okay.
Sharon, I think it's one of the top facilities in the country, but the track surface needs so much help that it's, you know, kind of sucks to go to, but like it's got great grandstands, the atmosphere is good pit area, you know, like exactly what you're saying about Lima Land. It's a good facility. So I think there's a lot out there that need a little bit of help. Yeah.
Yeah. And I hear a bunch of stories from Lima Land, and that may be part of the issue, but if you get a chance to go there, just get there, you know, when you get there beforehand and actually check out the facility, because I'm sure you do your walk arounds and figure out where you're going to be and all that stuff.
Yeah, I have to everywhere I go. I do. I try to get there early enough. If it's Attica Fremont, I pull in as they're hot lapping sometimes. Okay. But I've already been there so much, I already know what I'm going to do.
Sure.
But new places, I try to get there at least a couple hours ahead. Do a walk of the pit area to find out who's there, then do a walk of the facility to see what I think is going to look good.
Okay. Well, if you get a chance to get to Lima Land, I think you're going to go there and be like, man, this facility is awesome. Now, will the track be good enough to race on or not? That just depends on the way the wind's blowing that day.
I heard that like the school that owns it isn't going to put any money into it, so I was like, that kind of sucks.
Well, I don't know this for a fact, but my assumption is that since the school owns it, they probably get some kind of break from the state because they use it for educational purposes. And
Oh,
so,
I'm sure.
like, a lot of tracks need to open the gates to make money.
Hmm.
I don't know that it necessarily applies to Lima Land.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I know they use it in a lot of their curriculum, so I mean that makes sense. And for that purpose, that the school owning the track makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. They've got, UNOH has got the high performance motorsports program, and I mean, they got a track and they put teams and cars out there. And
Yeah, they brought 3 cars to Volusia.
I was going to say, you probably saw them down there at Volusia. I'm just looking here while we're talking because you talk about Eldora and being a party. World 100 camping, and World
Is it
100
sold out?
is in September. This is
It's sold out?
February. It's not sold out, but there's maybe a dozen spots in BFE and a dozen spots in Eldora Village, and that's it.
Dude, I'm not surprised by that. One bit.
Nuts. I went to the Dream last year, and I really enjoyed it, and I plan on going back because it felt like a big race, but it wasn't like the Kings Royal. I can't speak about the World 100 because I haven't made that, but it wasn't like the Kings Royal where on Saturday night you're going to be standing in line for the restroom or beer or food or whatever the case is. It wasn't anything like that. I could go up and get concessions or use the restroom, and I wasn't standing in line forever. So, and the racing was cool.
Yeah, I haven't been there for a late model show yet, so I have it as one of my this or that races on my schedule. So, I could go to the World 100 or the Dream or something else. So, hoping to find out what I get to do.
I mean, the World 100 obviously is extremely prestigious, and you're trying to shoot the big stuff, then that's where you got to go, right? But
yeah, but if I don't make it, if I'm not going to make any money, I can't go. I physically can't afford to go. I'd rather go shoot, Attica and make $50 than go, to the World 100 for nothing. So
yeah, a little bit of a haul for you to get down there to Eldora, right?
Yeah, it's about like 4 or 5 hours.
That's a trek. I caught Wayne County. It sounded like a dangerous track from a conversation that you had on a podcast. I guess you had to track a helmet down. Is that right?
Yeah. So that's awesome story. Yeah, place. It's not one say it's a dangerous track. There's some places that could be dangerous for drivers in certain scenarios, but I'd say it's a pretty safe track for the most part. Because there's just a place where me and another photographer, we always stand that's right on the on-ramp for those cars to get on the track and right out of corner number 4. So that's where they get sideways and they spray us with dirt. Well, I've gotten hit quite a few times in the face and the head with rocks. So I was like, I'm going to wear a helmet. So shout out to Leighton Wagner for letting me wear his helmet. And people have made fun of me, but I got a helmet coming on the way from Velocita that they're sponsoring me a helmet, so that's gonna be awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, I want to say it was one of the. It may have been Let's Race 2 last year, but I was at Eldora for a race. The kid caught a rock in the head in the grandstands, and it split him open. So I can't imagine being in the spot where they're spitting dirt and whatever else is in the track at you. The helmet's handy.
People, like I said, I know people are going to make fun of me, but when I was wearing it last year, Jack Hodenshield came up to the fence and he goes, "You know what? You look pretty smart." And I was like, if Jack Hodenshield says I'm smart for wearing a helmet when I'm standing here, then I must be pretty smart.
There you go. I know you, at least from what I look at and what you post, you shoot a lot of sprint cars. That's not to say you don't shoot others, but you shoot a lot.
Yeah, I
of
spent
winged
a week.
Cars.
I spent a week in Volusia shooting late models. So
Yeah. So my question to you is, what is your favorite car to shoot?
Oh, sprint cars for sure. Okay. I'd probably say non-wing. I don't know. It's hard for me to say wing or non-wing. I think non-wing is so much more entertaining, and you can get that at certain tracks. You can get them way sideways at the flag stand, and just the footage sometimes comes out really good at like places like Terre Haute or Lincoln Park. But like if we're gonna shoot sprint cars at Eldora, I'm gonna say wing all day long.
Okay.
But
And
I'd say like wing or non-wing. I couldn't really decide.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong in either way. I know if you get humidity in the air, then in my opinion, wing is the way to go.
100%.
Do you have a favorite track to be a race fan at? I know you obviously don't get to do that a ton, but
100% Eldora.
Eldora, okay.
Eldora, all the way. 100%.
Now, did you
That's
take any
my
races
favorite
in
track
last
since
year?
Not as a fan.
Okay.
I said earlier that like I don't know the last time I sat in the stands and watched a race. Yeah. Whether it was a feature, a heat race, I don't know the last time I sat and watched a race.
Wow. It's been a long time.
It's been like 3 or 4 years.
Did you make any new tracks last year?
Yeah, I made quite a few. Williams Grove, Knoxville, Atomic, Raceway 7, Lincoln. There's probably a few more, but like this year I've already crossed off one. I crossed off Volusia. Oh, and Charlotte last year. That was another new one. Nice. Which we talked about world-class facilities. That is a NASCAR facility.
Yeah, I can imagine. Out of all those new tracks that you made it to last year, we'll exclude Charlotte because I think that's kind of a different ball of wax. But all the new tracks you made it to last year, what one would you suggest to somebody that they had to go visit and why?
And I'll exclude the Williams Grove and Knoxville because those are places you just have to go. If you're a race fan, you have to go to those places.
Fair point.
But I would say like Atomic is probably one of those places like that you just have to go, a place you should get to. I mean, the banking is like 37 degrees. I mean, it's like a little quarter mile, but they are 110 plus.
Yeah.
For special sprint cars. Like it's nuts for that. So like, I would say Atomic is one of those places you should probably go watch a race.
Have you had a chance to make it to Winchester in Indiana yet?
Oh, no, that's cool. I did. That's another. I like that place. That was really cool.
I went think that's for the steepest bank track in the country, if I remember correctly.
So that's what Brady Bacon told me, and if that's the case, that is nuts. Because I went there for the Silver Crown. Yeah, the Silver Crown race after Eldora. I did do that.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
which I plan to do that again and that might be one of those I just sit in the stands because it's just that cool of a.
Yeah, it's neat. I went out there after the race and walked up in turn 1 and 2, and it's steep.
And I'll recommend that to anybody that plans to go to. I think it's Let's Race 2. Go that the next day on Sunday. It's an afternoon. It's only like an hour from Eldora. It's one of those. You're like, well, I don't know if I'm going to have fun. I really like dirt. No, trust me, you will have fun.
When I went there last year, and it took me back to, again, I guess I got to preface this a little bit. I'm a little bit older than you.
Just a little bit.
But Thursday Night Thunder, when ESPN would carry IRP, I think they were racing. Mm-hmm. Like that kind of, it was daytime. But it kind of took me back to that feel. Like I'll watch sprint cars on anything, whether it's dirt or asphalt.
Oh, 100%. And so many, if you like racing history, that place is very historic. So many people have cut their teeth there. So many drivers have massively busted their ass there, like Tony Stewart and a few other drivers. When you have some of the best to ever get in a race car are terrified of a place, you should probably make a visit to see what they're talking about. It's
a neat facility. It's different than anything that I have been to. I can't say I've been to a boatload of tracks. I've been to some different tracks, and it's different. It's really neat. I'm with you. It's definitely a place you got to check out. Do you have any big plans for 2025? I know you talked about some of it, but any other big plans for 2025?
Yeah. I'm going to figure out, I want to started kind of putting something together this year, but I'm going to try and put out our documentary. I think I'm going to I have an idea for one. I think I'm going to start working on a second documentary idea. I don't know how it's going to work out. I need some track help and some help with drivers to pull that one off. Like, I want to do something on Lou Blaney and Sharon Speedway.
Okay.
Because I like both. There's the facility and that driver have not been talked about as much as I think they deserve to be. So to put something out like that, but again, just putting my nose back to the grindstone and 100 plus races again with, not missing a crown jewel. So I have, Knoxville on my schedule twice, every Eldora 4 times. I'm traveling a lot of the country and I want to go to Vegas, but I don't know if that's going to work out, but we'll see.
I can remember when the Outlaws raced at Vegas, and I can remember watching when they were running hot laps and the F-16s from the nearby Air Force Base were flying overhead. That right there would just be like, I could go for hot laps if I see a fighter jet flying overhead. I'm like, all right, I saw it.
Yeah, that I've never been there, but I remember like growing up watching like on Speed Channel, The World of Outlaws in Las Vegas. And that kind of plays into like some of my growing up. My dad and uncle used to go fly out to Vegas and crew chief for Terry McCarl.
Okay.
So when Terry and the Outlaws would go through Arizona and a little bit of California and Vegas, my dad and my uncle would go out, fly out there and crew for him for, a couple weeks.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Well, have you had a chance to make the Lawrenceburg yet?
It's on my schedule.
All right.
I'm trying to be there for the high limit show.
Okay.
And then do that in Butler. I really want to do that. I think that's again like another high bank fast place that I want to go to. I don't think I'll make it to any sprint like non-wing shows, but it is what it is.
Well, it's just first time I went to Lawrenceburg. If you walk in from the main parking lot, it's wild, man, because it's just a big wall, and that's turn 1, and it's crazy, and it looks like a giant bull. I mean,
it looks huge on TV, so I can only imagine what it looks like.
And and it's a nice facility too.
Part of me sucks that they took some banking out of it, but I kind of get it when you have some incidents like they've had that you need to do something. So
yeah,
as a fan, I'm like, oh, that sucks. But as somebody in the industry, I'm like, that needed to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on both counts of that. Kind of wrapping this up. I always do this with everybody I have on, so you're no different. We're going to go through some lightning round questions.
Ooh, sounds fun.
So I got 10 questions for you. Try to answer them as quickly as you can. Now, the last one is purposely gives you the ground to kind of speak, and I don't expect it to be quick. I just expect it to be funny. So, question number 1. Celebrity crush growing up?
Lindsay Lohan.
Favorite cartoon?
Cars.
Favorite pro wrestler?
I never got into wrestling.
All right. Favorite song?
I really like Texas by I'll go All My Exes by George Strait.
All right, very nice, very nice. One location that you have saved on the map on your phone?
Does this racetracks count?
Sure, whatever you want.
I have like 90 racetracks saved in my pinned locations. I'll go Charlotte.
All right. Favorite vacation spot?
Volusia.
Oh, man. You went there this year and it's already your favorite vacation spot.
100%. I found 2 nice campgrounds that I'm going to hit next year.
Okay.
I'm working on getting a camper van built, like a school bus camper van built to travel this year. And I got places I'm going to stop next year.
Oh, man, that's very cool. I want to get down there myself like you did. Volusia and Ocala really aren't too terribly far apart from each other. And
So they're only like 45 minutes.
Right. I've got some family near Ocala, so I need to get down there. There's no. I'm one of those, like, I make a schedule, like I'm going to go here and here and here, and then I've got a couple boys that are high schoolers, and it doesn't always work out the way I'd like it to. So
100%, I get it.
Something very few people know about you.
Oh, Lord. Man, I don't know. Oh, I have a 1.5-year-old son. I'll go with that.
Okay, very nice, very nice. If you could own one car, what would it be?
Nissan GTR R34.
Is it got to be a specific color?
Midnight purple, probably the Nuremberg edition.
Man, you've got that down to a science. You know exactly.
100%.
What is your go-to meal?
Can't go wrong with steak and potato.
Okay. And last, funniest story you have from the racetrack?
Oh, man. I have a lot of stories, but I have a hard time remembering a lot of them. Or I think they're funny and they're really not funny.
Well,
I just had some like incredible interactions. I guess maybe one of my funniest is I interviewed Terry McCarl for that documentary I was working on, and I asked him one question, and my whole video clip is 45 minutes because he just kept going and going and going. And next thing I know like his whole history, and I asked awesome. Why do you like racing? And he's just 45 minutes later, I got an answer.
Hey. But that's a story you got, and I mean, just to be on the other side of that and hearing what Terry McCarl has to say about his racing history, that's 45 minutes might be short.
Yeah, honestly, and don't get me wrong, it's all good stuff. It's hard. It would be hard for me to like cut that into segments. It's almost like, oh, I can't use it for this, but I want to do something with it. Yeah, but I would say that, or I spent Jordan Charge and his crew came out here last year for Ohio Speed Week, and I spent the whole week with them. I met them at Attica, and they're like, "Let's just come with us." So I hung out with them all week, and that just not like a story, but like the whole thing was an adventure. Like we ended up at this side of the road pub breakfast place that I have a t-shirt from. I forget what the name of it is, but it's like 20 minutes from Millstream. But like I was in my tent sleeping in their parking lot, and I got woken up by airplanes because they were landing like next to my tent because it's like a little grass runway that we didn't know was there. So all the airplane owners were parking and then going to get breakfast and then hopping in an airplane and leaving. Like, who gets woken up at 7:00 in the morning to airplanes next to their tent?
Yeah. That's a wild story. Was the food good?
Oh, the food was really good. I'd highly recommend it. I forget the name of the place, but the owner was really cool. They found out like who we were and what we were doing. They're like, oh, and they started giving us t-shirts and stickers, made all of us sign the wall like we were celebrities. It was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Very cool. I imagine if you stop there and you have a place where airplanes are landing to go eat, it's probably good.
It was pretty good. We got there at the tail and there was a whole lot left because we were maintenance on the car. Yeah. But the environment and the people there was awesome.
Nice. So wrapping this up, Joe Baggott, owner and CEO of Dirtbag Media. How can people reach out to you, whether it's request, if they want you to come shoot stuff for them? How do they get a hold of you to schedule things, and where would they find out about pricing for that?
Yeah, just message me through Instagram or Facebook through Messenger is the easiest way. It's how I do a lot of my stuff. Just kind of shoot me a message there, and we can either hop on the phone and chat or stuff like that. But if you want to schedule some my schedule's already pretty much made up. But if you make it worth my while, I could definitely change my schedule a little bit,
And
or plug you into where it works for my schedule. So if you're like an Attica team, and I'm not going to Attica for a month, but I'm going there in June, we'll schedule something for June.
Okay. What's the best? You've got various social media platforms. Which is the best one for them to reach out to you at?
Dirtbag Media on Instagram and Dirt Baggott on Facebook.
All right. Very good. Joe Baggott, like I said, owner and CEO of Dirtbag Media. I appreciate you coming on with me.
I drank a beer. I drank another beer. 3 beers. 4 beers. Oh, no.
Recap and racing to come. February 23rd, Lincoln Speedway in the Icebreaker 30. Chase Dietz will get the win. Danny Dietrich in second. And Troy Wagaman Jr. in third. Aaron Bollinger went from 15th to 5th in this race. February 27th, I-37 of the Power I Elite Outlaw Sprints. Marcus Thomas with the win. Sam Haferteef Jr. from 17th to second. Way to get up there, Sam. And Austin Mundy in third. February 28th, Hattiesburg and USCS. Matt Covington gets the win. Davey Franick in second and Jason Martin in third. And Lima, Ohio's Max Stanball with a nice 5th place finish. Joby Miller would go from 17th to 6th in this one. Heart of Texas Speedway, US MTS. Jim Chisholm gets the win. Rodney Sanders in second, and Tanner Mullins from 13th to 3rd. 4 other drivers in this race went at least plus 10. Wow. Southern Texas Race Ranch Power I Elite Outlaw Sprints. Noah Gass with the win. Sam Haferteef Jr. in second, and Austin Mundy in third. Silver Dollar Speedway in the Silver Cup, night number 1 with the 360 sprints. Shane Gulbick gets the win. Braden Charmante in second, and Caleb Montgomery in third. Springfield Raceway 1989, back in time, $5,036 to win for the late models. Brian Shirley gets the win, Dylan McCowan in second, and Tony Jackson Jr. in third. March 1st in Hattiesburg with USCS, Mark Smith with the victory, Jason Martin in second, and Dale Howard in third. Heart of Texas Speedway with US MTS, Joe Chisholm gets the win. Tanner Mullins in second, and Terry Phillips from 15th to 3rd. Gary Christian would go from 25th to 8th in this one. Paris and USAC CRA, Ricky Lewis with the victory, Jake Swanson in second, and Kevin Thomas Jr. in third. Southern Texas Race Ranch and the Power I Elite Outlaw Sprints, where Sam Haferteef Jr. would get the victory, Noah Gass in second, and Austin Mundy in third. Silver Dollar Speedway in the final night for the Silver Cup in the 360 sprint cars, and Tanner Holmes gets the win. Tanner Carrick in second, and Justin Sanders in third. Sonoy in the Spring Nationals, Cody Overton with the victory, Ethan Dodson in second, and Ashton Winger would round out your podium. Springfield Raceway 1989, back in time, $10,036 to win for the late models, where Clayton Stuckey would get the victory. Gordy Gundaker in second, and John Kirby in third. And today, as we're recording this, March 2nd, Volusia, the World of Outlaw sprint cars hit the track. And that leads us to the racing to come. March 3rd, Volusia, and the second night of the World of Outlaw sprint cars during Bike Week down there in Florida. March 7th, Deep South Speedway and USCS. Rocket Raceway Park's going to have the 15th annual US MTS Texas Spring Nationals. Talladega Short Track with the World of Outlaw sprint cars. March 8th, Brownstown Speedway in Indiana with the Northern All-Star late models, modified stocks and Hornets. Deep South Speedway and USCS, I-75 with Hunt the Front, Lincoln, and some 410 sprints as well as Legends. Magnolia Motor Speedway hosts the World of Outlaw sprint cars. Port Royal has 410s and late models as they get their season underway. Rocket Raceway Park and the finale for the 15th annual US MTS Texas Spring Nationals. And the Stockton Dirt Track, and a salute to Leroy Van Connett with NARC King of the West Sprints.
Goodbye. Mwah! And good night, bad.
Thanks as always for listening to the Dirt Court Jesters podcast. Follow us on Spotify, X, Facebook, and YouTube. And we hope to see you guys at the track.